Hey, it's Joshua Vergara. What's going on, everybody? And I'm here to bring you some first impressions on the Sony Xperia XZ Premium. Now, we've known about this device for a little while, but now we know that in the US, pre-orders are going to start on June 12th, with the shipments going out on June 19th. The thing is, I'm not in the US right now. I'm in Taipei for Computex 2017. But I was lucky enough while here to play with the Xperia XZ Premium for a little bit. Now, our full review unit is coming to Android Authority very soon, so our review is going to come after that, taking into consideration all the specs and the features. Initial thoughts on the design. The phone feels just a bit too big. A 5.5-inch display is not too large. However, there's so much going on above and below it that it feels like Sony just doesn't know how to compact their phones as well anymore. That said, this phone is incredibly symmetrical with this blue hue that is incredibly glossy and, as such, pretty fingerprint prone. Handling takes a bit of a hit because of how large the overall device is, but all in all, it's a great looking phone. And part of the reason why it's a great looking phone is because of that 5.5-inch display. It has 4K resolution and HDR capabilities. Now, I can't speak to either of those extra features just yet, and I plan to in the full review. However, 4K resolution just makes everything look incredibly sharp already. One thing I noticed, however, was in the display settings, there are a lot of options for changing the coloration of the display. You can have a super vivid mode that really bumps up the saturation, or you can stick to an sRGB mode for more accurate colors. That said, that 19 megapixel camera is probably one of the marquee features of this phone. Not only is it capable of 960 frame per second slow motion video, which we're really excited to test out, pictures and videos should be pretty awesome on this phone, and I've been using it a lot for a little bit of vlogging and also for a lot of pictures around Taipei. Video in particular I've been pretty happy with because colors come out pretty good, detail is still pretty high, and the steady shot set to intelligent active mode does a good job of making sure that my jitters aren't showing up on the screen. And if there's one thing I'm always going to love about Sony Xperia devices, it's that extra camera button. If there's one negative I can give, at least for now, on the camera, it's just that the interface is a little bit cumbersome. Everything seems to be a mode, and you have to swipe over to get to the video mode, or you have to open up the mode selection screen just to get to 4K video. It's a few too many steps to get to something that should probably be a button on the original camera interface. But for now, you can enjoy these clips and pictures from Taipei, and you can see what the quality is like for yourself as we are going to continue testing it for our full review. So that takes care of the main features. We'll just go ahead and give you the rest of the specs, including the Snapdragon 835, 4GB of RAM, 64GB of onboard storage with expandability, and Android Nougat 7.1.1. Now, the software on the Xperia XZ Premium actually feels really snappy, and that might be because the animations are turned up in Sony's version of Android. That certainly makes everything feel faster, but I also did not notice any lag when going through all of the different applications, and in particular when I was using the camera interface pretty incessantly throughout the day. And finally, there's a 3230 mAh battery in the Xperia XZ Premium, backed by Quick Charge 3.0 and an adaptive charging layer that is on top of that, so you can really juice up the phone in no time at all. So those are just some initial thoughts and just a quick spec rundown of the Xperia XZ Premium. Overall, I think that the design just kind of shows that Sony is sticking to its guns when it comes to how they build their phones, but when the specifications are this high, you might really have a contender on your hands. A 4K display could mean one of the best display experiences, especially with everything that Sony puts into their triluminous display. And then of course the 19 megapixel camera that is really easy to use with that extra button, but also with its super slow-mo and also its intelligent auto modes that we've seen in Sony phones before, you might have a great Shutterbug companion on your hands. So we hope you enjoyed our initial thoughts, at least on the XZ Premium. Like I said, we're going to give you a full review very soon, so make sure you stay tuned to Android Authority for that and even more. Head over to our other properties for more coverage of Computex 2017 as well. And remember to come on back to AndroidAuthority.com and our YouTube channel. Subscribe to it if you haven't already, because we are your source for all things Android.